Welcome to the Java class. In this video, we will discuss about the constructors in Java. Okay, so constructor is a method that creates an object. The constructors usually used to create an object. In last program, I have discussed about how to create the object. In Java, constructors are methods same name as the class name, used to create the instance of an object. Okay, so constructor name and class name should be same. The constructor methods with the same name of the class name. Constructor name and class name should be same and used to create the instance of an object. Constructors are invoked using the new keyword. Constructors are invoked using the with help of the new keyword. You can declare more than one constructor in class declaration as long as they have different signatures. You can define the constructor more than one, but the signature of the constructors should be different. Okay, you cannot define the constructor more than one with the same signature. It will make confusion to a compiler. Okay, you can define the more than one constructor with different signatures. Okay, here is example, that is the constructor example. Create an object using the student constructor. Okay, here I have that is object, that is student. I have created the object with help of the constructor with help of the new keyword. See here, new, the constructor, student class constructor. Okay, keep in mind constructor name and class name should be same. Okay, the constructor call is at the end of the statement and must be include the arguments that match the parameter list of the constructor. Okay, so here, so if you declared you defined more than one constructor, depending on the parameters argument, it matches the parameter list and it call the particular constructor depending upon the parameter of the constructor. Suppose you have the constructor, first one is the constructor that is student with no parameter, second one is constructor second constructor that is also student but with parameter x and y. Okay, you just pass the arguments. If you pass the arguments, then second constructor will call because that is parameterized constructor. If you do not declare a constructor, Java will provide default constructor for you. If you do not declare the constructor in class, compiler will call the default constructor. When you declare own constructor, the default one provided by Java will not available. Okay, if you define constructor in class, then default constructor is not available for the same. Java will remove the default constructor and it will call user defined but declared constructor. Okay, overloading the constructor. Next topic is overloading the constructor. Constructors assign the initial value to instance variable of a class. Constructors assign the initial value to a instance variable of class. Constructor inside a class are declared like methods. Is declared like a methods. The difference between the methods and constructor is constructor has don't have any return type, whereas the methods have return type. Overloading the constructor means having more than one constructor with the same name. Having the more than one constructor with the same name but differ in the signature. However, the number of arguments could be different and data of argument could be different. So there is a different signature for the same constructor. Okay. So constructor with parameters. So constructor with parameter is to when you want to initialize the field of two values other than the default value. So you want to initialize the constructor with initialize the variable with parameters, then you can go for the initialize constructor. Here the constructor with the parameter is used to when you want to initialize the field to values other than default value. If you want to initialize the value rather than the default value, you can go through the constructor parameters. Here I have a constructor that is public student. Remember, constructor doesn't have any type. I am passing two parameters of type string. First one is n and second one is SSNS. Here I have declared the variables that is name and sessions. Okay, so the value of n will be stored in the variable name and value of session will be stored in the variable session. Here I am using this because here global variable is C and even this parameter variable also is C. So it will make confusion for the compiler if the both name exist. Then if you use this word, it will refer to the global variable. Okay, so here the instantiate the student instance using the constructor with the parameters. Here how to call the constructor? Here I want to call this constructor, that is the student. Okay, just create the object student equal to new, call the constructor here. Just call the constructor, pass the values Gina and SSN number. The Gina will be stored in the n and SSN will this 300345 will be stored in SSN. Okay, so here n will be stored in the variable n name and SSN will be stored in the SSN will be stored in the global SSN variable. Okay, so I will move to the program session. Open the notepad. Okay, I will create a class that is constructor example. Constructor example. I have class that is constructor example. Class has own opening and closing brace. Okay, inside the constructor I will create two variables, that is int a. I will assign 10 to int a and another one is that is int b. I will assign 10. I will assign the values through the constructor, parameter constructor. Just I will make it on this size. Okay, next what I will do is I will create the constructor. Here the rule is the class name and the constructor name should be same. Okay, here constructor name is class name is constructor example and even constructor should be the name constructor example. Class name and constructor name should be same. So public constructor example. I will pass two values. One is int x and another is int y. I am passing two parameters. First one is int x and second one is int y. I have declared two variables a, b. So what I will do is I will initialize the variables with help of these parameters. The value of x I will store it into a and the value of y I will store it into b. And b equal to y. Okay, so value of x will be stored in a and value of x will be stored in a and value of y will be stored in b. Okay. Next I will create a method that is addition. So wait addition. Okay, inside the addition I will make addition operation. System dot out print the addition of the number is addition of two number is plus a plus b. Okay, so here the constructor name and class name should be same. Here constructor class name is constructor example and even constructor name is also constructor example. I am passing two parameters. One is, this is called a parameterized constructor. So I am passing two parameters x and y, where the value of x will be stored in a and value of y will be stored in b. Okay. Next what I will do is I will create a main method. Okay. Static y string error what I will do is I will create the object. When you create the object, the constructor will invoke automatically. How to create the object? Class name constructor example that is C new keyword and call the constructor here. The constructor name is here constructor example. We have to pass the two values here because this is a parameterized constructor. Here constructor example. We will pass two values. One is 10 and second one is 8. Okay, so 10 will be stored in the X and 20 will be stored in Y. So here I am calling the constructor, that is constructor example. Will the constructor example. Values are 10 and 20. Next, what I will do is I will call this method addition. Okay, C dot addition. Yes. So here constructor will invoke when you create the object. Okay. So here I am using the parameterized constructor and I am passing the values. This is 10, 20. Okay. So difference between the methods and constructor is doesn't have any return type, whereas method has return type. Okay. So I will show the program. The file name and class should be same. Constructor is dot Java. The Java program extension is dot Java. Okay, go to command prompt. Okay, the command prompt pointing the location. Now I will change it to read write. Java C. File name is constructor example dot Java. Okay, so our code is completely error free. There is no any error. Java. How to run the program? Java constructor example. How to run the Java code? Java space class name. The addition of two numbers is here 30. Perfect. So here suppose the difference I have told you, that is difference between the constructor and method is constructor doesn't have any return type, whereas method has the return type. Okay, if you apply a return type to a constructor, that is y, okay, so it will give error. If you apply the y to a constructor, then compiler will think that this is not a constructor, so this is a method. Okay, so what we need to do is, if you apply the return type to constructor, we need to call the constructor with help of the object, just like a method. Here I am calling the method addition with help of this object name C dot addition. If you apply the return type to a constructor, then compiler will think that C is the method. We need to call the constructor with help of this object. So we need to call the constructor like C dot constructor example. Let me execute this program. I will get the error. Java C constructor Java. See here I am getting error, that is constructor example, find the symbols, something incorrect. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to call the constructor with help of the object, because compiler will consider it is a method. C dot constructor example. Okay, pass the values here 10, 20. Okay, let me execute this program. Open command prompt. We type Java C constructor example dot Java. Okay, yes, perfect. There is no error at all. Constructor example. Yes, addition of the number is 0. It's showing 0 because I have mistake. Yes, showing 0. So the keep in mind, if you apply the void to a constructor, then it will be considered as a method. Okay, so this is about the constructor. Thank you for watching. Stay home.